Well, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. Hope we meet you well. Okay, let's have our turn, that is to say the turn of our viewers to also weigh in on the subject matter that's been out there a few days now, about a week. I'm talking about the federal government's decision to ban from next year under-18 secondary school students from sitting for the West African School Certificates examination and that of the National Council of Education. Well, this decision has been met with, I don't know if it's curiosity, but widespread shock. Even condemnation by the Nigerian Union of Teachers, for example, as well as students, not to talk even of the widespread public. Well, to look at this whole matter and also take your input on the matter, our guest this morning is Dr. Sylvester Enome. Dr. Sylvester Enome is an educational management consultant. He's former director of education in the Lagos State Ministry of Education, District 5. So a fine morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Yori.
Thank you very much for coming on the program. There's been much ado about this subject matter. A lot of commentary has gone on it. A lot of people, you know, just to set the scene, so to speak, just to set the scene, the minister, the Honorable Minister, Professor of Education, Professor Tahir Maman, he's explained that really there's nothing new here. And his explanation is that if you spend the required number of years in each stage of the educational system from before now, you're going to be 17 and a half by the time you're ready for a university. But the way it is being spoken about now, the minister lamented when I saw him on television, it's as if something new has been brought about. Well, there still are areas that we can talk about. For instance, this doesn't take care of gifted students, talented students, but the minister is saying that the new policy is that come de come, you must have a certain number of years traversing primary school, then junior secondary, senior secondary, before you end up in university at 17 and a half. As an educationist yourself, can you fathom a guess as to what this is all about? Because there are people who have been harsh in their criticism and have asked, is the Federal Ministry of Education not busy? Doesn't it have useful things to do? Has been a harsh criticism that I have heard.
Yes, good morning once more.
Thank you.
And I'm happy to be with you again.
Thank you.
Professor Tahir Mama, the Minister of Education, I really believe that pegging the age at 18 for WAEC and NECO is very necessary. But then, I think the implementation is what people are a bit not very skeptical about.
Yes.
You see,
because he made that point that it's always been this way.
Yes.
If you look at the system, this 63-4 education system,
yes,
you end up, when you don't repeat any class, at 17 and a half, whereupon you're just ready for the entry into university at 18.
Yeah, if you say it has always been this way, but there have been no blanket policy about that 18 years of age. For example, we have 6334 system of education.
Yes.
That's 6 years in primary school, 6 years in junior school, 6 years in senior secondary school. Fine, that will be 12.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it depends on when that particular child comes up, enter the primary school. That child could be...
He's supposed to enter at 6.
6.
Yes.
Then if he enters at 6, definitely he's getting to that 17 plus 18.
Yes.
Fine. But,
enter at 6.
But what people are really agitating concerning this issue is that, one, there are fast learners and there are slow learners. The fast learners can grab anything immediately and put it into action. While the slow learner, they will continue to be guided. Mm-hmm. And by guiding them, you will see what the fast learner have gotten so many weeks ago,
Yes.
they are still trying to come to reality with it.
Yeah.
You see, if the Professor Tahir, our Minister for Education, said it has been on ground, fine. But this aspect of making it 18 years to write WAEC and NECO, that is what is the problem. There are some people who wrote WAEC and NECO at 15, 16, and they did very well. They entered the university and they came out, some of them came out with first class and the rest.
Yes.
The fact there is that restricting them, that is where the problem is. It has been there, fine, but there is this flexibility. You can write your WAEC before 16, 17. Some people even wrote their WAEC at 20-something years. Some wrote at 29, because WAEC, they have private WAEC now and school WAEC. So those for school, there is age limit to it. So this aspect of that 18 is what people are talking about. Before I go ahead, sir, let me quickly say one thing. Everybody cannot move at the same pace. There is this aspect of people who, when they get there, they move. That is why we have different domains of education. We have the cognitive domain. We have the affective domain. We have the psychomotor domain. The fact is that if you cannot fit into the intellectual aspect of it, you can fit into the psychomotor. And luckily, the federal government is really doing much thing about entrepreneurship.
Okay.
It's not compulsory that that aspect of putting 18 years, and which of course it has equally gotten to JAMB now.
Yes.
You must be 18 before you write JAMB.
Yes.
Is these policies not trying to slow down those smart people?
Well, indeed, yes. But consider this. Might they think that this policy is so that we don't have quote-unquote underage students ending up in university, where because a person is gifted, he arguably could satisfy all the requirements by the age of 14 or 15. And there have been such examples in the past. There are so many Nigerians who entered school early, who entered university early. And as you said, I think you said so today, went on to make a success of it. But can it be, is there any merit to this matter about we don't want people ending up in university too young, ending up in university at, maybe to exaggerate slightly, 14, 15?
In that case, what I think we have to do is let us start with the age of entering primary school.
But okay, but because the minister said when and you must have heard him too, that it's not primarily about age of the student. It's about how long students in Nigeria will spend in the school system mandatorily before ending up in university. This seems to be the thrust of the policy, that you must spend 17 and a half years.
Yeah, okay, fine. 17 and a half years or so actually is not the remedy. What I would have advocated, or what I want to advocate right now, is let us look at the schools, the educational system itself, in a broader way.
Okay.
Is the academic aspect of is the educational aspect of Nigeria, is the performance okay? Is there accessibility to education? The dropout rate, what is it? Where we have so many millions of dropout rate as a result of one thing or the other, is it not going to slow down the education of the masses? You see, when we start talking about this, somebody could be 16 or 17, get into university, and perform better than somebody that is 20, 29 or so. But then, character-wise, I would say we have to take some factors into consideration.
Okay.
Parental factor.
When you say character-wise?
Character-wise,
maybe
yes. The children entering into the university. Because what ASU and the rest are saying...
If they're more mature when they end up in university...
Yes.
Is it relevant in this particular case?
Maturity in the university actually is not a very high rate of discussion.
Okay.
Because those people who are supposed to be very mature in the university, they are the ones that have the temerity to create problems. Like these younger ones are scared. At least I have taught in all aspects of education, primary, secondary, college of education, even university. You will see that these younger ones, because of the home training which they get, they come to school, my father must not hear this. They are calm and quiet. But these bigger ones with muzzle will say, nothing happens. So it is little to the left and little to the right. But this blanket 18 years, this 18 years is going to affect so many people. And if it must work, the private school owners.
That is, it's going to affect so many younger students.
Yes, so many.
That will now have to
wait till 18.
Wait till 18.
And when they enter the university, which is supposed to be 4 years, at times they end up spending 7 years because of ASU strike, 6 years. All those things should have been placed into consideration before coming out to say this is. It's a good idea if because everything have intent and purpose.
Yes.
But why not bring all the stakeholders and let them discuss this thing?
Exactly. But as the minister said, it's not about the age per se, but about whether you have spent a stipulated number of years in Nigeria's 6334 education system. And if you have done that, and if your parents started you out at the right time, at the age of 6, you will be 17 and a half when that, when you are about to enter university, if you didn't have any go slow, no repeat or anything. But people are wondering, what has brought this about? And they are implying that it's hardly a concern. And it's hardly a concern of government. Some have even said that it's not the place of government to be putting these strictures. I don't know how you feel about that.
Actually, government, because they are involved in education, they should regulate most of the policies. But
they say it should be subnational.
Yes, it should be subnational
governments, not the federal government.
You see, let me quickly say this. If you look at the curriculum itself, that is where I had expected the Federal Minister of Education to work on the curriculum. At least I attended this National Council of Education at Ikeja late last year. Let them work on the curriculum. If the curriculum is properly taken care of, there will be no problem. There will be no problem. Look, if we say, okay, the 18 years, this, that is not the issue. The Federal Ministry of Education should focus more on what will benefit the populace than that 18 years. Though the idea may be good.
Oh, they said students this year are good. It won't start this year.
It's a testing.
Yeah, so those students that are, are not yet of that age can still get admitted by JAM. But they say from next year, JAM will not allow students who are not of the appropriate age.
You see, if we have to look at what is happening outside, which of course Nigeria will always say, I want to look at education in UK, education in America, education in this, education in that, you will see that in all the universities in UK, each university are given the opportunity to set their standards in case of age. There is no age limit in entering any of the universities in UK.
Okay.
I will give you an example. There is a smart family, though they are Nigerians. Mr. Chris Imafidon and Mrs. Anne Imafidon.
That's right.
They call them the smart family in UK because the children are gifted.
They are.
Somebody, for example, like the twins, they call them the wonderful twins, Peter and Paula Imafidon. Imagine them scattering mathematical equation at 9, getting their A-levels at 9 years. And not only that, they are good in all aspects. If those people were in Nigeria, they would have been highly limited with this policy.
Indeed. And
they would have been highly...
America is another example of child prodigies who are entering university at the age of 11, 12, simply because they are gifted.
Look at their elder sister, Samantha. The same thing. Samantha got it even before these people. And she mentored them. Today they are following Samantha educational policy.
Now you see this
in UK, and some other investors are buying into it. How old is she? The fact that the age actually should not be curtailed. It should not be curtailed. I don't want to give some example. You get what of those in the villages?
we in Nigeria here, the names elude me now, but we have had, you know, these gifted children,
Yes,
who, you know, have done wondrous things with the exam at an early age.
you see, I don't want to say, sir, that I don't want to say it's like we are going back to the ancient regime where we were using our hand to get to the ear. When you get to the ear, before you enter the primary school, if you are retarded, somebody who is not growing well, and your hand couldn't get there, you are not allowed to enter the primary school those days. That era really makes so many people, like the dwarf and the rest, who were 20-something years, they couldn't enter the primary school. We should look at what is good in other countries and implement it. But let me quickly ask this question. If we all now follow this policy, what are the children of the elites? What are the children of the political class who are not in Nigeria? They are schooling abroad.
Okay.
They are in Dubai, they are in United Kingdom, they are in US, they are in all over the world, Australia and the rest, Finland.
They probably are.
The age is not affecting them. When they finish their education there, they will come back. These people that have been seriously placed in a place based on age, they will come and rule over them too. Because we should be germane in our policies. The Honorable Minister of Education is an intelligent person, highly intellectual, because you cannot be a professor just like that. Though some of us who are PhD holder, our junior ones and the rest have been professors for years, based on where you find yourself, where you are. But then let us take those good things.
Okay. I hear what you say. In fact, Sweden is one such country, and Alhaji Kasim is calling from Sweden. Good morning, Alhaji.
Hello. Hello.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Alhaji, in Sweden.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead. We can hear you now.
Yes, I just want to contribute. I want to like to Mr. Ayori to take note of something, and doctor.
Okay, we can hear you, sir. Alhaji Kasim, we can hear you. Please go ahead and contribute.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm using this opportunity to beg in Nigeria to allow this.
It's low, but maybe they'll help us upstairs.
We should forget about looking at the USA or UK. I want the doctor himself to go and make a research and look at North of Europe. The best education now in the world is in England, right? And they are using the age.
Alhaji, one moment, please. We can't hear you. We're going to need to adjust the level. We can't hear you, but we know that you are speaking. Try again, please, Alhaji Kasim. Please start again.
Now? Can you hear me now?
Well, only slightly, but go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, please.
So I'm just trying to appeal to Nigeria to allow the government, to stand with this policy. Please, 18 years is the perfect age. At least we should look after the board. We should forget about the UK or USA. We should look at another country in Europe, like North of Europe now. The best education system in the world now, as I'm talking now, is in Finland, right? And they are using this age system. Okay, supposing if there's one child which is dot in ocean, that's brilliant, they should have another channel to take care of them. It's just 1 in 100. How many of them we have in Nigeria? Or for not this billion we have in Nigeria? Where are we today in Nigeria? Where are we? It's not by learning grammar. It's not by going to university alone the country develop. They should come and look at the way there's something functional in North of Europe. Out of 1 million students that finish college in a year, maybe just 250 that are not to university. The rest, vocational education and trading, and their country is developed. So we should forget about this. My child is finished at 15. My son is finished university at 15, at 18. It will work in Africa. And to oppress each other, which is not good.
Okay, so Alhaji Kasim, if I understand you, you are actually in support of that policy. You're saying there's no need to hurry, to rush the children. Did I get you right?
No, I couldn't hear you properly. This network is. I'm just appealing to begging people. Let allow these government policies to stand, please.
Okay. Yes, I did get you right. Thank you very much for calling in, Alhaji. I'm sure we'll actually hear some different perspectives today.
Yes, yeah.
Alhaji in Sweden has said that, what's the big rush? But the one issue, so that let the policy stand, even though it isn't about to launch now, it is from next year that JAM will not allow, JAM and NECO will not allow students to.
Well, we couldn't hear him very well, Alhaji Kazim,
yes.
And also there was no way of asking him questions. You see, in Sweden, the same Sweden, anytime you get to any higher institution, you are admitted.
Anytime.
Anytime. So he would have added that one to it. Anytime you get there, you are admitted. They don't believe in maybe you're supposed to start on the 1st of June or this. When you get there, you are eligible, you are admitted. The enabling environment is what matters most now. The enabling environment. When you look at, if the Federal Ministry of Education can really work on the enabling environment for this issue, nobody is totally against it. Nobody is against it, but it should have been made to be flexible.
People should have been able to discuss it.
Yes, they should discuss it with stakeholders, and it would have been made to be flexible. Right now, there are some universities where some months you can't get any light, no water supply.
Yes.
So I would have expected the Federal Ministry to look at this enabling environment, let them see how they put in place mechanisms to make all these things work. And if it works thoroughly, there is no problem. Nobody will be. ASU will soon come, though ASU really supported this 18 years of thing. They said universities are made for mature people.
Yes.
Fine. Actually, maturity matters a lot in education. But then, what of the few ones who have the opportunity, who are intelligent?
And I think that's what...
That is just where I am having problem. Not that federal government, as far as they are involved in education, they can set the whatever precedent or whatever the policy.
Okay.
But let our education be made accessible. Mm-hmm. Let the curriculum be, in short, pan-ebitted to suit the situation on ground. Let me use that word, pan-ebitted.
I hear you.
To suit the situation on ground.
Alhaji Kazim, he had the idea for, especially gifted children. Maybe you set up different institutions for them, because oftentimes these geniuses, they require specialist teachers as well.
Yes.
Yes, they are highly gifted, they arrived ready-made apparently, but they must be managed so that you can get the best out of them. Mr. Yakub, good morning to you, sir. Thank you for holding on. Go ahead now.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
For me, I totally agree with the doctor. If the federal government or Ministry of Education, they should be able to look into this thing second time. You know why? Why? Because it's said that if the child is not up to 18 years, he or she cannot sit for WAEC. Why? I can tell you for free, sir. There's some 16 years old. If they sit down with the 18, 20, 21 years old, they will still do better than them. Instead of them deprive all these children, why are they not giving them alternatives? That's number one. Number two, there's something that Dr. Fester said that's so damaging to my mind. Is that, do you know what, sir? All these are politicians, the governors, all these people. Their children are not schooled here in this country. They school outside the country, and then mostly all of them, they have body. And then when they go outside this country, at the age of 15, 16, and then when they come back, the children of Nigerian citizens that you deprive, they will not come back and begin to rule upon them. Because you already deprived this one, and then when you allow your own children to school abroad, meanwhile, over there, nobody deprive your education because of your age.
Yeah.
How could you be saying that? When the children know what he's doing, you can see, if you see social media, if you see what great things all small children are doing today, you are amazing, sir. So how could you be saying that if they are not up to 18 years, they cannot sit for why? Why? Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much for calling in. Indeed, these are the themes that we've been hearing all week since this policy was announced. That look, at the end of the day, there are those who are privileged, the affluent in society, who will be able to sidestep this and as long as they're operating outside of the country and they don't think that is fair. But as I said, nobody is arguing, you've said that nobody is arguing with what the policy seems to be, which is that spend a stipulated amount of time in the educational system. And if you are a Nigerian student, 6334 will end you up at 17 and a half when you reach the university.
No, we should not be putting that 4, because that 4 is the university.
Okay, yeah, 633.
Yes.
Yes.
That is, they call it basic 9 now.
Yes.
That's 6 and 3, and then the 3 years in senior secondary.
Exactly.
Some people are naturally deprived already, because they have this opportunity of going to school is not there. That was why when we discussed something on this federal government loan scheme, I was very happy about it. There are some people, some males, who will go and hawk, go and do menial job to be able to pass through secondary school. No father, no mother, and all those kind of stuff. Those ones are naturally above 18 before they write.
That's right.
And that, if you look at it, those people are even more than 20-something%.
And the system, the policy thrust doesn't have anything.
The poverty index already have placed them like that.
Yes, and they are not concerned with that. They seem to be concerned with the lower end of the scale, that the minimum age, it doesn't matter, you're not supposed to start at 11. But let's say you go and start primary school early. Primary school late. They're not arguing about that. But you cannot... The policy seems to be saying you can't start early and then end up too early in university.
Who are the people creating the problem is the elites and the working class people. Immediately a lady gives birth to a child, not up to after the 6 months maternity, she throws the child to a private school.
That's right.
And that child starts.
And everybody's
from there, pre-nursery, nursery, and then there is no way. How are you going to stop that child? Because the father or the mother, they are working somewhere. They are working class ladies, they are working class, and they don't want anything to tie them down. Those children are placed there. Are you not going to stop them because of this age?
Apparently.
So that is the problem.
Apparently.
We should look at it. You see, when we are talking of policy formulation, we should look at all indices. We look at the various alternatives. Then we select the best of those alternatives, and then before we evaluate. After evaluation, before you now say, okay, this is the policy. You don't just come like fire brigade and say, boom, like that. No. This present government means well for education, and I'm very sure of that. But most of these things that will make people to start looking at one side of it should not happen this time around. There are so many things the Federal Ministry of Education need to talk about for now. Though we know there is this test running, they said till next year. Fine, next year is okay. But then, are they putting in the enabling environment for this thing to kickstart without any problem? That is the question. So we're okay.
Let's hear from Dr. Omotayo in Ibadan. Good morning to you, doctor.
Good morning.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, your program is quite educating, and I've been enjoying it.
Thank you.
I want to contribute.
Please.
By the grace of God, I've been an educationist for quite a number of years, close to 40 years now. And I'm surprised at what people are saying, the contributions of different people on this subject matter. My surprise arises from the fact that it seems that we are so used to doing things wrongly that we are now used to cutting corners, even when it comes to education. The law says 6334. Your child should be at least 6 years old before entering primary school, and then he is expected to spend 6 years in primary school, 6 years in secondary school, before entering university. Now add 6 plus 6 plus 6. What do you have? 18 years. Then what's the hula value about? I've been a lecturer teaching students for about 38 years. Uncle Yori, I have to tell you, if the government doesn't stand on this policy, our education is going to totally collapse. Now, everybody is just saying, referring to some extraordinarily gifted people all over the world. What is their percentage? They are just 1 in a million. And I believe the educational system has making a good preparation for such students.
Okay.
But in Nigeria, we want to tell ourselves that 95% of our children, they are gifted. And all of them should be allowed to go through education, cutting corners, graduating at the age of 16, 17, 18. Let me tell you the story. When I first started as a lecturer way back in the 80s, I remember a very young student. She was 18 years old. She was in the final year, 400 level, and she had a lot of problems coping, not because she wasn't intelligent, but because she could not organize her time to cope with the stress and the demands of the university. Is that what we want for our students? Is that what we want for our children? What is it that is making us to rush these children through education? It's 22 years, too much, too late for students to graduate.
Yes. Well, thank you very much, Doctor. Yeah. Appreciate your calling in.
Yes, it's a good contribution.
Colleague of yours.
It's a good contribution.
Colleague.
Yes, he said the gifted are just minimal percentage.
I'll tell you what, so that I wouldn't have to interrupt you, let's take a break, okay, so you can really explore that thought and continue with taking calls from home. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back.
TVC News Weekend Lineup. TVC Breakfast Saturday with Kemi Fola Adeyemo and Emmanuel Ajayi. Political Standpoint with Precious Amayo. Newsweek with Mark Otabo. Politics and Sunday with Femi Akonde. Community Forum with Sarah Ayeku. Get ready for the biggest stories, fresh perspectives and burning news discussions that round up the weekend. Only on TVC News.
The Edo governorship election is here, and TVC News is your go-to source for all the election action. As Governor Godwin Obaseki steps down, the race hots up for his successor. 3 top contenders for 1 seat: Olumide Akpata of the Labour Party, Asue Godalo of the PDP, and Monday Okpebolo of the APC. As the contenders make their case and the voters make their choices, who will emerge winner as Edo decides? Stay tuned to TVC News for live coverage, in-depth analysis.
Ademola Lawrence,
Theophilus Elama,
Sarah Ayeku,
Ikenna Amechi,
Joseph Kumbe,
Solomon Ajisiogo,
Uche Okoro, TVC News.
And the latest updates as the results come in.
TVC News, first with breaking news.
Okay, welcome back, and my guest in-house is Dr. Sylvester Enome. We've been getting some interesting calls. The last one just before we went on break, and it was Dr. Omotayo, and he was wondering what's the big deal? What's the unmentionable lateness in graduating at 22, for example, 18 plus 4. All other things being equal, ASU doesn't involve itself in the process. So you have a clear 4 years. I think Dr. Motayo also was highlighting, he even used an example that, look, there are psychological aspects to the rigors of a university system. Sure. And that I imagine that he was thinking that maybe the policy people are also thinking that can youngsters much younger than that actually organize themselves properly? Might they not be under the influence? This is the first time these people are going to be away from home, the first time that they are tasting this freedom, and it's thrown at them wholesale. Now suddenly you don't have mommy anymore to guide you or daddy to guide you. You yourself are a landlord now, so to speak. And it is felt that a lot of the youths, students, cannot actually moderate their time without danger. Now, that's one. I heard that. Did you say Nike in Ilorin? Adenike in Ilorin. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in. Please go ahead with your comment.
Oh, yes. I want to say thank you so much to our able representative and the studio there.
Yes.
Very good discussion.
Yes.
Well, I will have
Dr.
this question to
Enome.
ask, right? Yes, the minister came up with the pegged age on in the universities entry. But what happens to the primary and the secondary schools? Because I happen to be a teacher in a secondary school.
Okay.
Because when we're going to enroll the students from primary 1, it must be 6. And you see parents bringing their children at 6 years. And when it comes to secondary school too, right? Parents bring their children less than 12. What happens to that? I think those things need to be addressed before going right to the university age limit. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Did you understand?
Yes, okay. Yes. She said the parents bring in children before or at the age of 4.
Well,
in private schools and the rest.
Yes.
Actually, if you listen to me from the beginning, I'm not totally against the 18 years of age, but I'm saying there should have been flexibility, so that even if you get to write WAEC and NECO before 18, you are not regarded as an underage based on your background. You see, the psychological aspect which Dr. Motayo mentioned is actually there. It's actually there. Like university is made for mature people. Fine. But if the enabling environment is there, they can cope. When we attended university, with a ticket of 50 naira or less than that, you can eat whatever you want to eat and all those things. But I know that is old days. People will say,
those days
we
are
are
gone.
Talking of ancient age and
those
all
days
those
are gone.
Fine. But now, let the Ministry of Education allow it to be gradual.
But the point that Adenike brought up is that
he said some people come before 4 years.
Yes.
And that is where I say working class parents and the rest, there is no way they will not send their children to school.
And that's where Dr. Motayo, who called in, was a bit angry that we become so used to doing the wrong thing. You're supposed to start school at 6. Adenike has just informed us that she's a school teacher.
Yes.
We get kids coming in to start school at 4, 2 years before the
6 years expectation.
The 6
you see, the fear of the parents, I may not be completely right, but let me say the fear of the parents is this aspect of a child writing a NECO WAEC at 18, writing JAMB at 18, and maybe if that child is not able to get that JAMB that year, you need to come back the other year, need to come back. Some people normally write JAMB at 2, 3, 4 times. But then, if that child gain admission, spend 4 years, that 4 years, all things being equal, ceteris paribus, which of course all things can never be equal in Nigeria, ASU strike and the rest come in, and you now graduate at 25, 26.
Okay.
Every organization, most organizations in Nigeria and companies, they are pegging age. You must not be less than 20, more than 23, more than 24 before you are recruited. So that one, you now try to juxtapose it. If you have to do UCall, if you have to juxtapose it, so many people are missing out of the employment, indices.
That's why you said earlier that this perhaps needs to be looked at again.
By all stakeholders, yes.
Let's talk about it.
You see, let me quickly tell you, as you are aware already, I taught in primary school, secondary school, college of education, university. I know how the things work there. There are times even on this, so naturally, somebody will come and say, look, I just need to be educated. The person will come and start College of Education at 30, at 30-something.
Yes.
Because of maybe he or she was insulted by one educated person or not. Naturally, this aspect of 18 years, it has been there. If we have to look at the 334 system and the number of years you have before you enter, but bringing it out now, you will see everybody must talk. That is just the truth. You have to look at the employability of whoever is going to be the graduates. Look at the employability. Look at access to education, proper education, conventional education. Now, some university and JAMB are saying, no, those that went for part-time degree and the rest, they are illegal. That one is still there. That is a matter of another day discussion. Let the stakeholder come around. The student body should be involved. Teachers should be there.
Not illegal, maybe not yet qualified.
The students themselves?
The ones you said can be thought of as being illegal. Maybe you can just say they're not yet qualified.
Yes, not qualified. Not qualified. Yeah, sorry for the misuse of that word. So the fact is that if the stakeholders, the proprietors, the vice chancellor, the chairman of the pro-chancellors, all of them, let everybody come together. Then we fashion it out. There is no way it will not work. 18 years, nobody's against it. But the flexibility aspect of it, those who can make it before that 18 years should be given some time. Though Dr. Motayo said they are very minimal. Fine, they are minimal. But it should be all inclusive.
That is those special students.
It should be all inclusive. Yes, education should be all inclusive. And if education is all inclusive, we should know that those people too should be taken care of. Education is no longer.
I think it was the other person in Sweden who said that what's wrong with setting up a particular center for gifted children?
Gifted children. Because that would be discriminatory.
No. Because look, they are clearly gifted, and it is clear to everybody that we are not in the same class. It's not every 6-year-old that can do calculus. If we have a 6-year-old that can be doing calculus, okay, come now.
With some policies makers and implementers allow it to work, they will want their children to go there. That is the Nigerian father. They will allow their children to go there because they know that every facilities are there. That is just the truth. If we are really honest to ourselves and we allow things to work the way it's supposed to work in this country,
yes,
Nigeria is blessed. And education is a serious matter. You don't give what you don't have.
But let's not forget that the Professor Tahir Mama, he said that contrary to what it sounds like, nothing has really changed.
Nothing has changed. But
nothing has changed.
Look at the educational examination aspect in this country now. Some states are given some percentage before you can enter unity school. Some are even, some states with only 9%, they are admitted in the same place where 50-something% have been dropped. If we want to be honest to ourselves, let everybody pass through the same process and procedures.
Well, that doesn't work, as you well know. The level of
and then why will this same 18 years
it doesn't
may not
work
be allowed to work?
That will I forget the exact terminology that you professionals use for it, but you can't. If we were to go like that, some people won't be able to enter school forever. And so what they do is that they weight these things and adjust. So, for instance, when we talk about JAM, for example, maybe I'm exaggerating it, what in the South might be a 220 cutoff in some other area, in other areas.
Some 100.
They will say 100 is enough.
Which is the truth, which of course I'm aware of.
Yes.
Because some universities in some parts of the country, they follow through basic schools.
They will say 100 is enough for us.
Yes, and that basic school
if
from
our
there,
kids get 100, he's going into that university that it costs you 220 to get into.
The rain that affects everybody is not painful. If they want this 18, let it be 18 all through. And honestly speaking, the allies and those who have sent their children abroad, they should make sure their children, they get this type of education in Nigeria. So that it should not be for only some selected people, while the other ones at 16, 17, 18, they are graduating somewhere.
Well, Doctor,
Nigeria belongs to all of us.
This idea you're bringing, it's logical. It's a very logical idea. But you know that we put that logic down for a while.
Yeah.
Who do I have on the line? So, who is on the line? Moses in Port Harcourt. Good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, Uncle Yori, good morning.
Thank you for calling in. Good morning.
The program is actually very educating, very, I must confess to this.
Oh, you're very kind. Thank you.
And I wish God to give you guys the grace to continue this discussion in a proper perspective.
Thanks for the encouragement.
Yeah. Having said that, I'm bothered by two things. The doctor and the student made a very valid comment. That comment which he made was this. He said something. I don't have an issue with someone being or putting a peg at 18 years. And I have an issue with one thing. He asked a question that most companies in Nigeria, who are the drivers of the economy, peg ages for employment opportunities to people. What is the provisions from the federal government in this regard to ensuring that people are not being unemployed as a result of those age limitations that will come up? That's one. Number two, we begin to also, it is time for us to now rightly interrogate certain issues. What are those issues we need to interrogate? The climate of education or the educational climate in Nigeria is not something that is absolutely very, will I say it, constant. You see it varying this way that one day, I just heard that there is a notice of ASU telling government that there must be, the committee was set up in this regard. Not all of us have opportunities of sending our children to private institutions or tertiary institutions that are privately owned. So the question you might be asking is, when someone who is actually, I suffered it, I had, when I was gaining admission into the university, 2 sets of people who wrote JAM were on ground. And they had to hijack our cut off to 276. They matched 2 sets. So many people were deprived of that opportunity. So the question you might be asking is that, was it our own fault that ASU went on strike? The answer is no. Was it the fault of my father that, oh, okay, I hadn't the privilege of going to school? So these are issues that must be exhaustive. Like the doctor said there, honestly, they need to be very holistic. I'm not against anybody saying that it should not be 18 years, but provide the environment, the necessary academic environment that will push through the substance of this 18 years. Most people who are shouting today, telling us that, okay, no, yes, it can be this. We made a one draconic rule that came up with the issue of floating our currencies and all of those things. We saw how our currency lost values by 70% immediately. There was no provision to cushion the impact of those things in the economy. This is another one that is coming to test the academic environment or the educational sector. There will be a need for us to totally and holistically address this issue from the standpoint of stakeholders involved. I think this is critical to the development of Cross River State, to the development of what they call it, educational system in Nigeria.
Okay.
I will say this. I'll make a submission that please let the entire stakeholder be involved in all of this and come up with the. If I have opportunity and my child is 17 years or my child is 16 years and I'm privileged to take the child to Ghana, I'm privileged to take the child to maybe Algeria, any other country, that they will do that. I will go there and take advantage of it and come back to still apply for work in Nigeria, and they will take me. Meanwhile, the son of the poor who has seen the opportunity of doing that will, one, be deprived of going to the university, two, be deprived of having access to employment. So in which way are we now addressing the issue of employment vis-a-vis the issue of entry requirement? Okay. I think we need a very critical look. God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your calling in. So this also doubles back to what you said, Dr. Norman, that this should be discussed. It should have been discussed thoroughly and extensively. Let everybody air their views. Let the experts consider all the views on the table and then come up with a position. It might well be what we have now, but then nobody can say you're foisting this on us. It might then also not be what we have now. But the important thing is people just want a sense of inclusion.
Yes.
In things that concern them as closely as this. Their beloved children and wards, they want to know, they don't want people, ordering them around. But then I also still bear in mind Dr. Matayo's point that we've become so used to doing the things he referred to as the wrong way that we now take that as the norm. And he gave the reasons and you yourself have said that as a professional yourself, as an education professional yourself, that you actually see the point about the psychology of education and the psychological makeup of a, for example, maybe a 15-year-old student
being in the university.
Being in the university where you are considered an adult altogether, and everybody leaves you to your own devices, as opposed to arriving, maybe you have a firmer, what is it now? You're made of firmer stuff if you actually are 18 when you end up in university. Well, I don't know. As I said, it's been out there for quite a bit. We were just biding our time so that our viewers could also weigh in on this matter. And at least I've heard from you, Dr. Sylvester Enomen, that you're not exactly amused by this, especially owing to the fact that it was not discussed properly.
Yes.
People, all the stakeholders should have been able to discuss it. But then again, the way we've seen this government act, they might have a reason to come back and say, you know what, let's look at that again. It's happened on 1 or 2 occasions, you remember?
Yes, yes.
Remember? It has happened that, okay, I've heard the outcry.
The people.
Well, we have heard the outcry of the people.
Yes.
Maybe we'll spend a bit more time on it. You know, that happened in this whole education.
Trust fund. This loan
yes.
stuff.
Okay. Mr. Mohammed in Kaduna, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Good morning, sir.
We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yes, good morning, sir. I want to say 1 or 2 things. The doctor had said everything. You understand? The doctor had said everything.
Don't bother. Please continue, sir. Don't listen to that echo.
We are in this country today. You understand? Those people that are privileged to take their own kids, you understand?
Yes.
Out there. They will go out there, they'll finish their education. They'll finish their education at the age of 19, 20, university. They'll come and serve at the age of 21. Most of the jobs we are having here, you understand, the parents will take the job for them. While the children of the poor, from 18, you keep on writing jam as the doctor writing eggs. I know people that have written jam for 4 or 5 times. At the end, getting to university, ASU strike and the rest, they graduate at the age of 29, 30, no NYSC. You understand? And one of the criteria, if you're getting a job today in Nigeria, as the doctor rightly said, they'll look at the age limit. We need so and so age. You understand? Right now, as an example, go to NYSC camp. Go and see old people serving. You understand? You see old men serving because they want to be on the safer side, the respect of getting a job. The age has been reduced. You see old people serving. You understand? If they were given opportunity for them to go to school, at the time they ought to go to school, maybe from 16, 17, they get up, they maybe graduate at the age of 23, 24 in the university, at least 4 or 5 years getting the job, 29 years, at least it's going to be okay. The 18 years, you write jam 6 or 7 times, 7 years wasted, you get to the university, ASU strike, you want to go and serve, they say you are above the age of service. You understand? So those that are privileged, they are bringing laws that are not helping us in this country. If you are privileged to take your son to school, once he's intelligent, allow him to go. And apart from that, where I'm living, we have kids that, look, when you give them computer, you see what they are doing. They are doing wonderfully well. You kind of be surprised, you understand?
Not just sons, daughters too.
Young guys.
Yes, I heard you. I heard you. Thank you very much. Not, I just made the, he said sons, but I know he meant students. Yes. You know, not just sons, daughters too. Well, these are the points that we have been hearing ever since the announcement of the intention to take off next year with this new policy.
But can I just come in a little?
Please, we have just 1 minute left.
Yes, you see, if look, you write your WAEC NECO at 18, your JAMB at 18, then maybe before you finish, if you are lucky to get the stuff, and you finish your university at 24 or 25, depending on how it may be, then what is the age for National Youth Service Corps? Because that is where the whole thing. These people have their children graduating at 21, at 20 from abroad will come, go to any of the nearby court and declare age that their children is so and so. If we must follow the procedure of that 18 years for WAEC and NECO, then jump, let it equally affect the NYSC.
Okay.
That is just it.
Yes.
And the 26% UNESCO recommendation of every country's budget on education, let it be implemented. If it's, I know this present regime, they are lover of education. They believe in education, and the president is ready to do anything to make education grow and develop. But let some of these policies, sir, we should give it a human face.
All right.
Thank you very much.
I think that's a fine place to leave it. And thank you very much, Dr. Sylvester Inomen, Educational Management Consultant and former Director of Education, Lagos State Ministry of Education. Really appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Indeed. And thank you also to all you viewers out there who weighed in on this subject. We just will wait. Of course, remember that it's not going to take off immediately, but by next year, the minister has assured that JAM will not be allowed to, examine students, neither will NECO. So that's our program today. Do please join us on Monday for a fresh edition. In the meantime, do have a great weekend. Bye-bye for now.
The following is a paid presentation.